will show a session later on how to update some information onto your credit report, because the more information on there, the better it is if you're looking for loans. If you have a new job or you've had a new job for over a year, you want to update with the credit report company because it's going to show that you have a higher paying job, and these are things that they take into consideration when giving out loans. But look over this. If you have a name on there like John Carlberg, in my case, um, this could be something that could be a problem. It might be identity theft. It might be someone else using your name. It might be someone else's information that was accidentally put onto your report. So these are the type of things that you need to look at just in case, because to err is human. Humans input this information into your credit report and they can make mistakes. It isn't always identity theft. But what we need to do is make sure there are no um, wrong information. There's no wrong information on your credit report, and we want to get that fixed as soon as we possibly can to fix your. The second thing is your account information. And you'll see this is the heart of your credit history because it's where you'll find all the information about your individual, joint accounts, the ones that you share with somebody else like your spouse or partner or something, so forth. All of this information, and this is where the majority of it, there's old accounts on there, there's new accounts on there, there's current accounts on there. They'll all have little notes, like I said, on the supplemental one. When we go over this with a fine-tooth comb, you'll see what they are. If these some of these are old, you have a chance to get rid of them. If some of them are not updated, there's a chance for you to work with these agencies to send in letters or make inquiries to try to get this straightened out. There may be, and listen, the statistic was 93% of credit reports have some type of error on them. So most likely there'll be an error. There could be an account on there that you've never had. And we'll talk about that later and in the supplementary how to take care of that, how to contact the credit companies, the credit bureaus, and have that taken care of and have that stuff removed off of your credit report. So check through this information to make sure all of it is yours. Some of it may be a little bit difficult because if something was sent to collections, you might not know what that information is on there, but you can easily find out by contacting the credit company or the name. Okay, so account information. Here we're breaking this down a little bit more detail. If you have your credit report out, you can kind of listen to this as we go through it. Your account numbers, and sometimes they're scrambled to protect you against identity theft. When you open the account, when a credit reporting agency began reporting the information, hold on. Okay, when the account was open and when it was began reporting to the agency, a lot of times if it went to collections, when it was sent to collections, the type of account, whether it's a revolving account or an installment account, like a mortgage or other type of loan, that's an installment account. A revolving account is like a credit card where you make payments, you pay down a balance, and it comes back up. If the account's been closed, if it has been in your credit or should indicate whether it's closed on or whether the creditor closed it because of poor payment history. So these are the type of things that we want to work to get taken off of your credit report because it doesn't look good if the creditor has closed the account on yourself, or if you close the account, sometimes that doesn't show well, but it's a lot better than if it was closed by the um, creditor, because that usually shows up. That's a bad sign. Okay, the accounting, the outstanding balance at the time of the credit report was generated, and these are other things that when we talk about negotiating down debt, we can get them negotiated hopefully and have them completely removed off of your credit report, and that's the most important thing. And then our monthly amount due for installments for accounts and mortgages and any other kind of bank loans that require you to pay a set amount. So you're going to see on there your monthly amounts due, the installment amounts on there, the accounts current payment status, is it on time, agreed, paying as agreed, or so forth, or late. For example, it'll show on there if it's 30 days late, 60 days late, 120 days late. Um, I think it is TransUnion that they'll color in the little block on there that shows you how many. If you don't see any of them, then you're good to go. But if you do have some of them on there, and if you weren't late, you really need to have those corrected because this has happened to me. Personally, I had a student loan. It said I was 30 days late on the student loan. That's impossible. I was in school, they were in deferment. So it took a lot of work to get that taken off, but it didn't look good until it was taken off. Okay, it'll show the most you've ever owed on an account. If the account has been turned over collections, it'll show the amount you owed and then what amount that you owe now. And if the account has been written off or charged off as uncollectible, and that does not look good on your account information either. But these are type of things that we can work to get taken off. Okay. Now, the third section are inquiries on your credit report. And in this section, it indicates who, including yourself, who has looked at your credit history information and when. Each time someone requests this information, it's required called an inquiry. Like I said, it's if it's you, it's not, but if it's someone else, it's considered a hard inquiry. And these are hard inquiries to affect your score in a negative manner. So we want to look at that and make sure that you authorized every one of those inquiries. If you did not, you need to go through the other section, and we'll talk about it later. You need to contact the credit reporting agency and have those removed. Now, on the website, I have a lot of form letters that you can use. A lot of times, form letters get thrown away, so we need to change the format on them, and we'll go through a little section on how to do that to get rid of these inquiries on your credit because instantly, if you can get rid of those inquiries, instantly you can raise it by 10%. And that's a okay. And then the next thing is public records information. So this is the section on your credit report that you may have court records or the IRS, the stating tax authority, lien against you. Gosh, I hope not. You want to get that taken care of right away. If there's unpaid court judgments against you. And then not talking about parking tickets. Parking tickets actually do go now. They're putting these on your credit report, and they're not. They don't have a statute of limitation on municipality tickets, so they need to be taken care of, but you can get those negotiated down because usually they quadruple in price before they're put on your credit. So these are the things that can get negotiated down. Your mortgage lender, if you had a foreclosure, if your car was repossessed, or if you failed to pay child support. So hopefully when you're looking at this, you don't have any of these on here, and that would be beneficial. If you do have some of this stuff on here, unfortunately, the only way to get that off, unless it's an IRS lien, is to time. Time is going to be your best friend because I believe in some states, I know Illinois, there's a statute of limitations on certain elements if they've been taken care of. If you continue to not pay child support, then they're going to continue putting it on there. But other than that, a foreclosure or repossession, that may only last on your credit report for 7 years. Sometimes it gets put back, but this is again, you can write a letter or do it over the internet and get that taken care of. Okay, so what does bad credit mean to you? Well, what it means is you could be denied other credit. You can't get credit cards. You can't get a loan. You can't get a car. You can't get a house. It's a big deal. Sometimes you get turned down for a job. If any of you are looking in the criminal justice field, that's a big deal. A lot of, not even just in the criminal justice field, but in a lot of fields, people are looking at your credit to find out whether or not they're going to hire you. It shows responsibility, or in some cases, irresponsibility. And sometimes it's not even your fault. You might have gotten sick. You may have gotten injured. You couldn't pay your bills. Guess what? They don't care. No one cares. You have to take care of it, and that's what you're taking this class for. So you can't look in the past to see how you got into this mess. It doesn't matter. We need just to move forward and get that taken care of and getting this stuff cleaned up off of it. You could be denied life or auto insurance. Guess what? In Illinois, you can't get auto insurance. You can't drive a car. Life insurance, if something happens to you, your family's not covered. These are big problems. And you're probably saying, well, what does that have to do with bad credit or if a lot of debt because of your bad credit? Well, they might worry that you would take your own life, or You may not be as just. Is it a good judgment? Absolutely not. It doesn't say who you are as your credit score, but lenders look at that and judge you by that. And unfortunate as it is in these days and times, we have to deal with that. So let's get past it. Let's get working, and we're going to get your credit score fixed up. Okay? You could have a difficult time renting a house. You'd be turned down for a government license or security clearance. And here you go with criminal justice. You want to be a police officer. You want to work for the federal government. You could be turned down because of bad credit. Okay? There's a lot of bad things that can happen to you. Now, having a lot of credit related inquiries in your credit history is not a good idea either because they may be interpreting them indicating that you are trying to take on more debt than you can handle. So, these are things that creditors are looking at. They're judging you by this. Other people are judging you by this. Employers are judging you. People who are renting are judging you. We need to get this taken care of. This is the extreme importance of why we're doing this. And hopefully, if you follow through all these steps and you start working with budgeting yourself as well and destroy your debt, we'll get you straightened out. All of this stuff will be taken off of your credit. We'll get it cleared up. And in no time, you'll be going sailing fine with a great credit score and no debt. Okay, now the credit reports themselves are set up against you. And you have to think of it. I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist, but which I am. But they are. There's 88 negative factors that can affect your credit score, and there's only 14 positive factors. So therefore, you're more likely to have something negative happen on your credit score than you are to have something positive happen on it, and this can affect it. So these are the things you have to be more careful about. Okay, and if you're looking at your credit score, they may be things like this: you have not had enough debt experience. You know, they'll if you get denied for something, they'll come back and tell you this. There's recent establishment collections on your. There's too many accounts with credit balances close to the limits. There's too many inquiries in the past 2 years. Your account balances are too high. Your bank card accounts are too high in comparison to the limit, and we're going to talk about that in detail. Your revolving bank accounts have not been open very long on average, and so forth. There's all types of factors that can affect it negatively, and we need to work on getting those corrected. Okay, now we're going to move to cleaning up your credit report because that's the most important thing. We're eventually built up your credit, but right now we have your credit report. We see the things on there. If you look at the supplementary lesson after we've discussed it here, we've gone over individually on that supplementary lesson what is on the credit report and what to have removed from it and how to do it. So here we're going to look at find a way in here, find errors in your credit files. And the Fair and Credit Reporting Act gives you the right to initiate an investigation into the problem with the CRA that is reporting the error. So what really this is saying is if something's in your credit report that isn't yours, you have the right to an investigation on it. This is important for you to know because it help you to get your credit report cleaned up, especially if there's something on there that isn't yours. All right, but a couple of things to remember: you cannot get rid of negative but accurate credit information that's on using an investigation process. That you can get removed, and we'll talk about that later. Certain things we can get removed, but not if it's true and not if it's been paid. It may sit up there and then you may petition to get it off, but we'll discuss that in a later session. So, really, for some of the things, only time can make that kind of information go away. Um, there are other ways to get that stuff taken off of your report that we'll discuss a little bit in more detail. But if, let's say, you had a credit card and you already paid it off, but it was closed and it's sitting on there, it's only going to be time before it can be removed. Now, how do you clean up your credit report or cleaning it up? If there are errors on it, if your name's misspelled, if your social security number's wrong, your street address is incorrect, any of that information needs to be cleared up. And I know you probably think to yourself, all right, you're looking at it, okay, they got me down as John Carlberg instead of Jeff Carlberg. What's the big deal? Well, if it is for you, if your name's not John Carlberg or Jeff Carlberg, then it might be a big deal. But if even for myself, if it was up there as John, I have to worry about identity theft. I have to worry that there is a John Carlberg out there and his bad things may be going onto my credit report. So I need that stuff cleared up immediately. We have to make sure that the account information is correct. For example, your credit report shows you paid